Taste of the real world. I got battered on the North Shore. It gave me comfort when I always knew that. You were there for me next door. I lived it hard on the long road. I ran through every single zip code. I get lonely, but I always.
How are you doing, math learners? This is your free access YouTube educator, Math Teacher Ash, and welcome to another review series in preparation for the second quarter examination. In this video, we will answer 40 questions that is related to the competencies of our beloved grade 7. Alright, so in this video, my dear math learners, prepare your pen and papers. Try to answer all of the questions, and if you need more time in answering, you can pause that question before revealing my answer in each question. So if you are new to the channel, please click the subscribe button and notification bell for you to be updated of these cool clear math videos just like this. So without further ado, let's do this. Alright, question number 1. In the expression fifth root of 25, the number 25 is called the blank. Is it A, radicand, B, radical, C, index, or D, base? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, for our first question, this is very easy because in a given radical expression, the number or the expression inside the radical sign is known as, very good, letter A, the radicand. Alright. Easy, right? Very easy, my dear math learners. So now let us go to question number 2. In the expression, okay, the same expression, the fifth root of 25, the number 5 is called the blank. Is it A, radicand, B, radical, C, index, or D, base? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, so my dear math learners, in a radical expression, if the number inside the radical sign or the expression inside the radical sign is known as radicand, what do you call the number that is actually here? Alright, so that is what we call, very good, it's not the base, but it is known as the index. Letter C, my dear math learners. Alright. Easy, right? Very easy, my dear math learners. So now let us go to question number 3. Which numbers are examples of perfect cubes? Is it A, 8, 27, 64, 125, B, 9, 15, 24, or 36, C, 4, 9, 16, 36, or letter D, 3, 18, 45, 99. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, this question is very easy. Why? First, we should know what is the meaning of a perfect cube. A perfect cube is basically a number that is multiplied from a number 3 times to itself. Okay, so basically these are numbers that has an exact cube root. Alright, so what are those? So for this question, the correct answer is letter A. Alright, this 8, 27, 64, 125. Why is that so? Because 8 is from 2 times 2 times 2. 27 is from 3 times 3 times 3. And 64 is from 4 times 4 times 4. And 125 is 5 times 5 times 5. So let's check our answers if we are correct. Alright. Easy, right? Very easy, my dear math learners. So I hope you are enjoying our questions. Let's go to question number 4. What is the square of 8? Is it A, 56, B, 64, C, 72, or D, 81? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, for this question, what you need to do is just multiply 8 by itself, because when we say square, it means 8 to the power of 2 or 8 squared. That means multiply it by itself. So 8 times 8. So what is the result if we multiply 8 times 8? Very good, my dear math learners. The answer is 64. Alright. Easy, right? Very easy. Now let us go to question number 5. Which of the following numbers is irrational? Is it A, 49, B, 0.333, and it never ends, C, square root of 2, or letter D, 4.25, or 4 and 25 hundred? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. All right, my dear math learners, when we say irrational number, it is basically a number that cannot be expressed into two quantities. Meaning, from the word itself, ir means not, rational, or from the word ratio means two quantities. So it is not expressing two quantities. That is for the meaning of irrational. So basically, these are numbers in which it is non-repeating, non-terminating. So when we have 49 as a whole number, it is understood that that has an over 1, its denominator. So it can be expressed into two quantities. Alright, so letter A is wrong. How about B? 0.333. So 0.333, it never ends. It comes from the fraction 1 over 3. 1 divided by 3. So that is the result, 0.3333. So of course, that is also a rational number. So that is not the answer for our problem. Now, we only have these two. Now, of course, remember that 4 is already a whole number, right? And this 0.25 is a decimal in which it comes from the fraction 1/4. So it still can be expressed into two quantities. Therefore, the correct answer for knowing what is an irrational number among these choices is letter C. Alright.
Easy, right?
We are correct for that, my dear math learners. Why square root of 2? Because if you try to get the value or the decimal value of square root of 2, it is non-terminating, non-repeat. Okay, I hope that is clear, my dear math learners. Now, let us go to question number 6. What is the cube root of 343? Is it A, 5, B, 6, C, 7, or D, 9? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, this question is very, very easy. Why? In order for you to get the cube root of 343, what you can do is you just use all our choices and multiply them to itself 3 times. And if you arrive in 343, then you have your correct answer. Now, let's consider 5. 5 times 5, 25. 25 times 5 is not 343. It is 125. So that is wrong. Now, how about 6? 6 times 6 is 36. 36 times 6. Now, from 36 times 6, if you multiply 6 and 6 there, that will end with 6, right? So we have here 3. So that is also not the correct answer. How about 7? 7 times 7 is 49. 49 times 7, of course, 9 times 7 is 63. So as you can see, we already got the last digit from our question. So therefore, we know that 7 times 7 times 7 is 343. So letter C is the correct answer. All right.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. I hope you got that one. Now, let us go to question number 7. Plot square root of 8 on a number line. Is it A, this one, between 2 and 3, B, between 5 and 6, C, between 4 and 5, or D, between 3 and 4? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, the trick here is very, very simple. Why? What you can do is you just consider where square root of 8 belongs. So, square root of 8 is between square root of 9 and square root of 4, right? Now, square root of 4 is a perfect square. The square root of 9 is also a perfect square, while square root of 8 is not a perfect square. Okay, I hope that is clear, my dear math learners. Now, the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 9 is 3. So, meaning, the value of square root of 8 is in between 2 and 3. And that is letter A. Alright, we are correct, my dear math learners.
Easy, right?
Very easy. Now, let us go to question number 8. It is the basic unit of mass in the metric system. Is it A, gram, B, inch, C, centimeter, or D, pound? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, this question is one of the easiest. Why? Because we just need to find the unit measure of mass. Now, in our given choices, inch and centimeters pertains to length, right? So basically, B and C are already wrong. So we only have gram and pound. Now, we are talking about the basic unit in the metric system. So the metric system refers to the SI unit of measure. So basically, the usage here is the base 10. So that is not the English system. Rather, it is the, very good, the gram, because the pound here is in the English system. Easy, right? Very easy, my dear math learners. Now let us go to question number 9. This system uses the inch, foot, yard, and mile to measure length. Is it A, metric system, B, English system, C, non-standard units, or letter D, universal system? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, for this question, we should understand that talking about the system of measurements, we only have two that is well known in the world, right? So it is not the non-standard units and not the universal system. So letter C and D is already wrong. We only have the metric and the English. So the metric system follows the base 10 rule. So we have the meter as the base unit. Then if you go smaller or if you go larger, it could be the decimeter, the centimeter, and the millimeter. Now if you want to go higher, it could be the decameter, the hectometer, and the kilometer. So that is under the metric system. Now the question here is that it uses the inch, the foot, the yard, and the mile. So basically, the correct answer for this question is letter. Alright, very easy. Easy, right? Very easy. Now let us go to question number 10. Which of the following is a non-standard unit of measurement? Is it A, inch, B, handspan, C, yard, or D, meter? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, as what I've said earlier, there are only two standard measurements that is recognized in the world: the metric system and the English system. Now, the metric system uses the base 10. The English system are those what we have talked earlier in question number 9. So, which among these four is different? So basically, the non-standard unit of measurement is basically uses the parts of the body, and this is the basis for our standard system that we have come up today. So the correct answer is letter B. Alright, very easy. Easy, right? My dear math learners, congratulations. You have already finished the first part of our reviewer series. So if you're enjoying and think that this video is helpful to you, please click and share this video to your fellow friends, class, and schoolmates. Now, let us go to question number 11. Convert 5 meters into centimeters. Alright, is it A, 500 centimeters, B, 50 centimeters, C, 0.5 centimeters, or letter D, 5,000 centimeters? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, so converting metric system is very, very easy because we are following the base 10 rule. Now, in 5 meters, what is its equivalent value in making it into centimeters? Now, remember the basic conversion factor that in 1 meter, there are 100 centimeters, right? So, of course, if you have 1 meter, it becomes 100 centimeters. Now, if you are asked, if you have 5 meters, how many centimeters would that be? Very good. You just multiply it by 5. So you just multiply 100 by 5. And the correct answer is letter A, 500 centimeters. Easy, right? Very easy, my dear math learners. Now let us go to question number 12. How does the metric system simplify conversions compared to other systems? Is it A, by using a base 10 system? B, by using fixed whole numbers? C, by only using grams for mass? Or letter D, by avoiding natural objects for comparison? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, we have already talked about this. The metric system, why it is very, very easy, it's because it uses the base 10 to simplify. Alright, so the correct answer is letter A. Alright. Easy, right? Very easy, my dear math learners. Now, let us go to question number 13. Raul need to measure the length of a bookshelf. Which unit would he likely use? Is it A, kilometer, B, centimeter, C, meter, or letter D, millimeter? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, for this question, it is very, very easy. Why? Because when you are measuring a bookshelf, you are using a meter stick, right? Or a tape measure. And that meter stick is also in the base of, or in the particular measurement for, very good, meter. Okay. That is very, very easy. My dear math learners, let me just clarify this, that the kilometer is for very long distance. The centimeters is quite the small units and much more for the millimeter. Okay, question number 14. What is the approximate conversion factor for converting miles to kilometers? Is it A, 1.609 kilometers per mile, B, 0.621 kilometers per mile or 621 thousandths, C, 1.752 kilometers per mile or 1 and 752 thousandths kilometers per mile, or letter D, 2 and 51 hundredths kilometers per mile? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. All right, math learners, in knowing miles to kilometers, just consider first, which is bigger? Is it the miles or the kilometer? All right, very good. The mile is bigger than the kilometer. So therefore, if you are converting miles to kilometer, you will be multiplying it one whole bigger than your given unit, because in order to become kilometer from a mile, you will be using 1.609, and that is letter A. Okay. Easy, right? Very easy, my dear math learners. So I hope you have understood or familiarized your conversion factors. Let us go to question number 15. How many milligrams are there in 1 gram? Is it A, 10, B, 100, C, 1,000, or letter D, 10 thousands? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. All right, my dear math learners, this question is very, very easy. Why? Because when we are talking about the word milli, it means it is a prefix that means thousands. So if your base is gram, so therefore it is 1 times 1,000. So therefore the correct answer is letter C. Okay. Very easy, my dear math learners. So I hope you are enjoying. Now let us go to question number 16. How many inches are there or are in 6 feet? Is it A, 48 inches, B, 72 inches, C, 100 inches, or letter D, 96 inches? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, in answering this one, you should know the conversion factor between inch and feet or foot for 1 foot. Alright, so for 1 foot, there are 12 inches. So if you are asked, how many inches are there in 6 feet? So that means you just need to multiply 6 by 12. So 6 times 12. And when you multiply 6 times 12, the correct answer is very good. Letter. Alright. Easy, right? Very easy, my dear math learners. So now let us go to question number 17. If a bottle holds 750 milliliters, how many liters does it hold? Is it A, 75 thousandths liter, B, 75 hundredths liter, C, 7 and 5 tenths liter, or D, 750 liters? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, let me remind you that milliliters is smaller than the liter, right? So if you are converting milliliters to liter, the value will become small because the conversion factor of liters and milliliters is basically in every 1 liter, there are 1,000 milliliters. So therefore, if you only have 750 milliliters, it did not arrive to 1,000, right? So therefore, it is less than the 1 whole. So letter C and letter D is already wrong for this given question. So how do we get the value in order for us to know? So you could use the jump method, in which you will be using the conversion line and then you move 3 units to the left. So from here, this is your decimal point. You will be moving 1, 2, 3. So that will be here. So that is 0.750. In which, if you try to simplify that, that would become 75 hundredths liter. Alright, so the correct answer is letter B, my dear math learners. Alright. Easy, right? Very easy. So now let us go to question number 18. To measure the volume of a pool, what unit would you most likely use? Is it A, milliliter, B, gallon, C, meter, or D, square inch? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, talking about a pool, or it means a swimming pool. how would you likely measure the volume in that? So when we are talking about volume, it is in the third degree. Okay, we will be considering the length, width, and height. Now, in terms of liquid, basically milliliter is very, very small, right? You will be considering a lot of milliliter if you want to measure the pool by using a milliliter. So letter A is wrong. Now, of course, letter C is also wrong because meter is talking about the length. All right. And then square inch is basically 2 degree only because you will be just multiplying inch, and the answer is square inch. So therefore, the correct answer is in the English system, gallon. All right, my dear math learners.
Easy, right?
Now let us go to question number 19. This solid has two parallel and circular bases. Is it A, cylinder, B, sphere, C, cube, or D, pyramid? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. All right, my dear math learners, if we consider the solid in this question, it has two circular bases. Now, if we try to make that one, so it will always look like this. So if we have a circular base there and another circular base here, and then these two circular bases are parallel with each other, so the distance between here and the distance between here are just the same. So therefore, what solid have you formed? All right, very good. That kind of solid is known as, that is letter A. All right.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So I hope you got that one. All right. So now let us go to question number 20. A cylinder with a radius of 4 centimeters and a height of 8 centimeters has a volume of approximately, is it A, 64 centimeter cube or cubic centimeter, B, 100.5 cubic centimeter, C, 201 cubic centimeter, or D, 402 cubic centimeter? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners. Now, in order for us to answer the volume of this given cylinder, let us consider the formula for volume. Now, for the formula for volume, the volume is equal to somehow pi, which is used in circles, r squared, then h. So r here is the radius and h here is the height. So we have here 4 as our radius and we have here 8 centimeters. So basically the value of our pi is 3.14. So that is 3.14. Then our radius, which is 4, that is radius times radius because r squared means multiply it by itself. So 4 times 4, that would give us 16. Okay. Now, if you multiply our height, which is 8, okay, so that is the one, you just multiply 3.14 by 16 and 8. So when you multiply this, basically the value I think that could end up is more over than 400. So for me, I think the correct answer is letter D, 402 cubic centimeters. Now let's check whether we are correct. Okay, my dear math
Easy, right?
learners. So these A, B, and C are wrong. Okay, so I hope, my dear math learners, you got that one. Okay, congratulations, my dear math learners. You already have finished halfway of our reviewer series. So I hope you have a high score in answering the 20 questions. Now let us go to question number 21. How does doubling the radius of a cylinder affect its volume? Is it A, doubles the volume, B, quadruples the volume, C, triples the volume, or D, reduces volume by half? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Okay, my dear math learners, if you can remember our formula for the volume of a cylinder, that is basically V, which means volume, is equal to pi r squared h. So if your radius will be doubled, then that doubled radius will be squared by itself, right? So if that would be the case, then the doubled, when squared, it will become very good. It will become quadrupled. So therefore, the correct answer is letter D. Alright, I hope you got that one, my dear math learners. Now let us go to question number 22. In a square pyramid, the bottom square is called as, or is called the blank. A, base, B, face, C, edge, or D, apex. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. All right, math learners, this question is very, very easy. Why? Because if you have a pyramid, of course, the most well-known pyramid in the world is the pyramids in Egypt, right? Now, if you can see that one, the base there is a square, and then it goes with the pyramid. So basically, the square pyramid, the bottom square there is known as the base. Okay. All right, very, very easy, my dear math learners. Now, let us go to question number 23. To find the volume of a square pyramid, which is not required, is it A, base area, B, height, C, volume of cylinder, or D, edge length? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, remember that the square pyramid is another solid, right? So basically, the parts of a square pyramid is essential in getting its volume. Which among these four is not part of a square pyramid? Very good. That is letter C. So the correct answer is letter C. Alright, very, very easy. Easy, right? Now, let us go to question number 24. Find the volume of a pyramid with a base area of 20 square centimeters and a height of 15 centimeters. Is it A, 100, B, 150, C, 300, or D, 500 cubic centimeters? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, in finding the volume of a pyramid, now what you need to do is to use the formula, right? So for the formula of the volume of the pyramid, that is basically the volume times 1/3, okay? And then multiplied by the base. So the area of the base is basically different from the shape of the base. If it is square, then the base will become S squared, okay? If it is rectangle, then the base will become length times width, okay? I hope you got that one. And then once you get the base, you just multiply it by its height. So therefore, when you have 20 here and you have 15 here, so the base is already given as area of the base. So 20 times 15, that would give you 300. Now, that 300 is the value when you multiply these two, right? Now, you still have 1/3 here. So, what is 1/3 of 300? You just multiply it by 1, divide it by 3, and the correct answer is letter A. Okay. So, you got that correct answer, my dear math learners. Very easy, right? Now, let us go to question number 25. Which of these is the correct formula, volume formula for a rectangular prism? Is it A, length times width, B, length times width times height, C, length times width divided by 2, or letter D, length plus width plus height? Okay, I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, remember what I have told you earlier, that talking about volume, regardless of what kind of solid it is, the volume is always in the third degree, meaning you will be multiplying 3 measurements of length. Alright, now, if you consider letter A, length times width, that is just 2, so this is wrong. Now, if you consider length times width times height, that is 3. Okay, let's consider that one. How about letter C? Length times width, that's 2, divided by 2, which is still reduced to the square of a unit of measure, or square units, right? So letter C is wrong. How about letter D? Length plus width plus height. When you add 3 different measurements, or 3 different unit of measure with the same unit of measure rather, okay, the result is still in the 1 degree, because addition does not increases your degree. It only copies your degree. Okay, so letter D is the wrong answer. So very clear that our correct answer is letter B. Easy, right? Very easy, my dear math learners. Now, let us go to question number 26. Which shape best describes a triangular prism? Is it A, shape with a triangular base and 3 faces meeting at a point? B, shape with rectangular faces and 2 triangle bases? C, shape with only 4 faces? Or D, a shape with no rectangular faces? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners. Now, the triangular prism is basically a solid in which it is like the carton of a Toblerone. Okay. Now, if you have seen a Toblerone, that is basically you can see faces of rectangle, right, in each, and then in the bases there are two triangles. So what could be that? That is letter B. All right. Because here in letter A, it is basically a triangular pyramid. So letter A is wrong. However, here, shape with only four faces, so that could be still a pyramid. All right, so that is wrong. A shape with no rectangular faces, that can still be a pyramid. Oh, that is wrong. So letter B is our correct answer, my dear learners. Now let us go to question number 27. A solid prism with a base area of 30 square centimeters and a height of 10 centimeters would have what volume? Is it A, 150 cubic centimeters, B, 250 cubic centimeters, C, 300 cubic centimeters, or letter D, 600 cubic centimeters? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. All right, math learners. Now remember, talking about prism earlier, the volume we got was length times width times height, right? All right. So when you have a solid prism with a base area of 30, so that is already in the degree of 2, as you can see here, in the degree of 2. So you just need one more degree. So you just multiply it by its height. So 30 times 10, you will get 300. Now, if you would ask me, can we consider the 1/3 here? Okay, the correct answer is no. Why? Because we are not talking about pyramid, we are talking about prism. So when we talk about prism, there is no 1/3 there. So you just length times width times height, or you just get the base times the height. So the base times the height, that is 300. So therefore, the correct answer is C. All right.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So now let us go to question number 28. Which of the following is a characteristic of a rectangular pyramid? Okay. Is it A, circular base with triangular faces? B, rectangular base with the triangular faces meeting at a point? C, square base with the curved sides? Or letter D, only triangular faces with no base? All right. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Okay, my dear math learners, this is very, very easy. Why? Because it is just like a square pyramid, but different base. Rather, it is a rectangular shape. So therefore, it has a rectangular base with triangular faces meeting at a point. So that is letter B, my dear math learners. Very, very easy. So now let us go to question number 29. If a square pyramid and a rectangular prism have the same base and height, how do their volumes compare? Is it A, same volume? B, pyramid's volume is half of the prism's volume? C, pyramid's volume is 1/3 of the prism's volume? Or D, pyramid's volume is twice the prism's volume? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. All right, math learners, the question here is very, very easy. I have already told you earlier that the difference between prisms and pyramid is that the pyramid is 1/3 of the prism. So therefore, the correct answer here is letter C. All right.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. Now let us go to question number 30. In which scenario would the volume of a square pyramid be bigger or be greater than that of a rectangular pyramid? Is it A, when the square pyramid has a smaller base but the same height? B, when the rectangular pyramid has a smaller base and height? Or C, when both shapes have identical base and height? Or D, when the rectangular pyramid has a larger base but a shorter height? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. All right, math learners. So as you can see here, we are comparing two pyramids. Okay, the rectangular pyramid and the square pyramid. Okay, so both of them, if we consider the volume, they uses 1/3, right? Okay, so that's it. Now, in order for the volume of a square pyramid be greater than the rectangular pyramid, of course, we need to make our base and height for the square pyramid to be bigger than that of the rectangular pyramid, or vice versa. We make our rectangular smaller compared to the square pyramid. So where is that here? So when the square pyramid is smaller, okay, that is wrong. We need it to be bigger. When the rectangular pyramid has a smaller, all right, so either way, you make the square bigger or you make the rectangular smaller. Okay, so letter B is the correct answer here. Very good, my dear math
Easy, right?
learners. Now, let us go to our last part of our discussion series. Very good if you have already here or if you have arrived in this part of the video because you already finished 75% of our review. Congratulations, my dear math learners, and please click that subscribe button and notification bell for you to be updated on our upcoming series. Now, let us go to question number 31. A glass souvenir pyramid has a height of 6 inch and a base area of 10 square inches. How much glass in cubic inches would be needed to create 100 such items? Is it A, 1,000, B, 1,200, C, 2,000, or D, 3,000? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, in order for us to know how many glasses is needed, first we need to get the volume of the glass pyramid. So, in terms of the glass pyramid, remember that pyramid has the formula volume is equal to 1/3 times the base times the height. Okay, so the height here is 6, the base area is 10, so that is 10 times 6, that is 60. So, 60 divided by 3, the answer is 20. Now, 20 is the volume, or 20 cubic inch is the volume of our glass souvenir. So, that 20, in order to create 100 more, we will multiply the volume to the 100 such items, and that is 20 times 100, giving us letter.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So the technique in solving problems is that you need to understand first what is asked in the problem. Now, let us go to question number 32. A collection of distinct objects is known as A. Is it A, set, B, union, C, intersection, or D, matrix? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Okay, my dear math learners, this question is a definition of the word or of the context in the lesson set theory. So the correct answer is that a collection of distinct objects is known as letter A. Alright, I hope you got that one, my dear math learners.
Easy, right?
Now, let us go to question number 33. Objects within a set are called A, elements, B, subset, C, union, or D, domains. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, for this question, my dear math learners, it is talking about the members or the objects in the set. Now, if you are talking about objects or members in the set, that is known as the letter A. Very good. So, it is the elements. Alright, so I hope you got that one. Now, let us go to question number 34. Which example represents a well-defined set? Is it A, set of intelligent students, B, set of vowels in the English alphabet, C, set of fast cars, or D, set of popular books? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, math learners, in terms of knowing a well-defined set, it is basically using the objective type. So what is objective type? It meaning it is not subjective. So when we say not subjective, it is factual, it is actual, and it does not consider the idea or the opinions of others. Okay, so which among here is in that example? Alright, so letter A is set of intelligent students. So for me, an intelligent person is different from another person's intelligent people. So letter A is wrong. Letter B, set of vowels in the English alphabet. What are the set of vowels in the English alphabet? Okay, is it A, E, O, U, or A, E, I, O, and U? All right, not me, it's you. Okay, all right. So set of vowels is the correct answer for this given problem. Now, how about set of fast cars? Now, set of fast cars is different also because what for me is fast is different from others. Because for me, let's say 100 kilometers per hour is fast, but for other people, for the race car, 100 kilometers per hour is very slow. Okay, so that is wrong. Set of popular books. So popularity is also subjective, my dear math learner. So letter D is also wrong.
Easy, right?
Very easy for this question. So now let us go to question number 35. If A is equal to the elements 2, 4, and 6, and B is equal to the sets 4, 8, and 10, what is the intersection of A and B. Okay, or A intersection of B. Is it A, 4, B, 2 and 4, C, 6, 8 and 10, or D, it's a null set or empty set? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Okay, math learners, this question is very easy because this symbol represents intersection, and if we are talking about intersection, it means what is the common between the two sets. So we have here 2, 4, 6. We have here 4, 8, and 10. So what is common between the two? Very good. That is 4. So the correct answer is letter A. All right. Very easy, my dear math learners. So now let us go to question number 36. Which of the following is the union of A with the elements 1, 2, and 3, and B with the elements 3, 4, and 5? Is it A, 1 and 2, B, 2, 3, and 4, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or letter D, 3? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. All right, math learners. Now, earlier we have talked about intersection. Intersection talks about the common element in 2 or 3 given sets. Now, talking about union, it is the combination of sets. So what you need to do here is to combine. So we have here 1, 2, and 3. We have here 3, 4, and 5. So in effect, when you combine those two sets, you will have letter, very good, letter C. All right.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. Now let us go to question number 37. Whole numbers are a set or a subset of A, natural numbers, B, real numbers, C, imaginary numbers, or D, irrational numbers. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. All right, my dear math learners, first things first, when we talk about subset, it means it is a member of a bigger set. Okay. Now, whole numbers is a member of what bigger group of numbers? Okay. So by definition, whole numbers is the combination of 0 and the counting numbers, known as the natural numbers. So natural numbers are the counting numbers, so that is 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. However, the whole numbers has a 0 added to it. So therefore, natural number is not the answer we are seeking. All right. Now, imaginary numbers. Imaginary numbers are those numbers that is outside the realm of real numbers. So basically, imaginary numbers uses the I symbol. So that is, the whole number is not part of that. So letter C is wrong. Now, irrational numbers are those numbers that cannot be expressed into two terms or two quantities. And it is normally non-terminating, non-repeating numbers. So when we talk about whole numbers, as what I've said, it is 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. So basically, the correct answer for this question is letter B. All right.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. And if you want to learn more about the set of numbers, you can consider the diagram for the complex numbers. Okay, the complex number system or the number system as it is. That's it. Okay, now let us go to question number 38. Which is a subset of complex numbers? Is it A, integers, B, irrational numbers, C, imaginary numbers, or D, all mentioned? Give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Okay, my dear math learners, complex numbers is basically the combination of real numbers and imaginary numbers. So what we have here is imaginary numbers is a subset of the complex numbers. That's correct. However, talking about real numbers, irrational numbers and integers are under the real numbers. So basically, if you consider integers, irrational numbers, and imaginary numbers, that is also known as the complex number. So the correct answer for this question is letter D. Alright.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So now let us go to question number 39. Which has a larger volume? A cube with 3 centimeters as sides or a cylinder with a radius of 1.5 and a height of 3 centimeters? Is it A, the cube, B, the cylinder, C, they have the same volume, or letter D, not enough data? Give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, for you to answer this question, what you need to do is to get the volume of the cube and to get the volume of the cylinder and check which among the two volumes is larger. Now, for the volume of the cube, that is basically s cubed. So s times s times s. So that is 3 times 3, that is 9. 9 times 3, that is 27. So we have here 27 cubic centimeters for the cube. Now, how about the cylinder? Now, if you remember the cylinder earlier, the volume for cylinder is pi r squared h. So our r here is 1.5. Okay, then you square that one. So that would give us 15 times 15. Right? So when you multiply 15 times 15, that is 2.25, or 1.5 times 1.5 is 2.25. 15 times 15 is 225. Okay. Then our height here is 3. So that is 3. And then our pi here is 3.14. Now, if we consider this, 3 times, let's just consider the whole numbers, right? So 3 times 2, that would be 6. 6 times 3, that would be 18. Now, considering there is a factor for the 25 times 14, it doesn't affect really about the given volume. It won't come up to 27. So, therefore, the bigger volume here is, so, letter A. Now, let's check whether we are correct. All right, we are correct, my dear math learners. I hope you got that one. Now, let us go to the last question, my dear math learner. If a chocolate bar has a base of 3 cm by 3 cm and a height of 5 cm, what is its volume? Is it A, 15 cubic centimeter, B, 45 cubic centimeter, C, 90 cubic centimeter, or D, 150 cubic centimeter? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about your answer. Alright, my dear math learners, the chocolate bar is in the shape of a rectangular prism. Now, remember the formula for rectangular prism, that is length times width times height. So, what you need to do here is you just multiply the 3 numbers. So, 3 times 3, that is 9. 9 times 5, that is 45. So, you have now your volume for your chocolate bar, and that is letter B. Now, let's consider if we are correct. All right, my dear math learners.
Easy, right?
Very easy, my dear math learners. So we have already finished the 40 questions for this reviewer series. So I hope you have a high score in trying to solve these questions in your homes. So congratulations, my dear math learners. You are now ready for the examination for the second quarter. I hope this video can help you and it can be shared to your fellow friends, classmates, and schoolmates. This is your free access YouTube edu creator, Math Teacher Ash. Always remember, it is fun to learn mathematics if we are together learning. Please comment your scores in our comment section below so that we can know what we need to work on. Thank you so much. God bless and keep safe always.
I got a taste of the real world. I got battered on the North Shore. It gave me comfort when I always knew that. I always knew that you were there for me next door. I lived it hard on the long road. I ran through every single zip code. I get lonely, but